You're watching the Players Network.
The reason that we started the show, I wanted our Las Vegas production to be something that had to do with parts of who I was as a performer. That is theatrical and it's classic, but yet it's also very familiar music. So with Bite, it's a vampire show. It gives you permission to fly. It gives you permission to do flying and magic and superhuman feats of strength and things like that. So the premise of vampires lets you do those things without having to explain why. Number two, the premise of vampires is international. It's universal. Everyone, no matter where you're from on Earth, you understand vampires. So this concept is that it stems more, not the blood, guts, and gore, but more of the power that vampire has and the story, the classic story of lost love.
My area. When I first started, we did a whole thing here where I had fire and everything, so they kind of designated as my space. So, experience here, interact here, all my actions are from the side. Kind of cool. So.
I always wonder what people are thinking when they see us walking through the halls with our buckets full of stuff and our fangs and our makeup. I mean, I know they know it's Vegas, so a lot of times I'll hear, oh, they're the vampires, I guess because they've seen the advertisements for Bite. But I always kind of giggle to myself. It's always a little funny to think what they're thinking.
Backstage, there's probably as much choreography as there is on stage with all the presets that we have. Like everything in the bucket you have to preset, and it has to be in a specific place, and people know who's running back when, and to be out of the way for somebody coming around the other side of the stage quickly to go on for another quick entrance. I mean, there's really like choreography backstage too.
What happens if something is missing out of the bucket?
Somebody has to run back. Somebody has to run back here and grab it.
Somebody runs at the speed of light back here and either grabs it or you have to improvise and do it without.
Do it with one glove.
Do it one glove.
No
like
glove.
we'll all wear one glove if somebody's missing a glove, or
I think a couple times
the whip's been missing and
yeah,
they'll share a whip.
Luckily we have more than one.
you definitely don't want to forget your teeth because you just feel naked without them.
Yeah.
Gosh, yeah, that's for sure.
So teeth and whips are two essential things for vampires?
Definitely.
Absolutely.
It's really glamorous, the underneath part. We only knew that we were wearing this under the boots.
With a vampire show, you almost have to have some kind of flying. And in Vegas, Cirque du Soleil does a lot of flying and a lot of aerial type of artistry. So when we had our first opportunity to have a show, we wanted to do flying, not just because we were flying, but there was a purpose and that meant something to the show. So our flyers actually have to be a character, and how they get into the air, why they take flight, and what they're doing when they're up there all kind of makes sense to the show. The people that we have are extremely not only talented, but they're very strong and they're very dedicated. These people can literally, in the scene that you see here, Case flies around for about 6 minutes with one arm, and he carries his wife the whole time, carrying the whole numbers with one hand. upside down, flying, twisting, turning, carrying somebody, swinging over the audience head, all with one arm. So they're quite remarkable, even without the strength of vampires.
Before they are even put into the show, they know what's happening backstage as well, because there's a whole other world backstage happening. And sometimes it's very fast, sometimes you have a little bit more time. You know, it's everybody has their own rhythm, everybody knows where everybody's going. Some people are running and chasing, and everybody knows where everybody is, so it works. But it's a whole, it's a whole different show behind the scenes.
And like for now, we've been together like for this whole cast for over a year now, so that's
so
really
everybody
works.
knows each other's in and outs, and that makes it work.
What are you getting ready to do right now?
Fight scene.
Fight scene.
Yeah, get ready to kick that guy's ass out there.
Yeah? Who usually wins?
I always win.
You always win?
Always win. It's a good thing. It's my house.
That's right.
That's right.
It is your house.
It's a good thing. You having a good time?
Having a great time.
Awesome. I'm feeling pretty confident tonight. You guys are here, so I should do pretty good. Thanks for your support.
The Stratosphere wanted something hip and new and cutting edge. They really wanted to try to market that new, young, hip demographic. And Bite is a classic rock show. So anyone that grew up with any kind of 80s, 70s, 80s, and early 90s classic rock and roll is going to love this show. Well, I tell you that really the hardest part about getting the gig in Vegas is that we didn't find that people thought that the idea of a vampire show was not appealing. Well, the problem that we found is that there are not a lot of venues that are open for shows. So once we found that there was an opening, the hardest part about the gig was taking the original vision and I guess the best way to describe it is dumbing it down to be able to fit into whatever venue that we got. So like here, for instance, when we originally got the show, there were 3 shows a day in the same theater. So we had to construct the show in such a way to be set up in 15 minutes every night and then torn down with 2 other shows, completely different shows, also in the same theater.
We always get asked about the key.
They just slip in like a retainer.
They're each fitted, like we all had to go in and had them fitted specifically to our mouth. And a couple of people had to do it like 4 or 5 times because you have to get an accurate, mold. And
They look real. My God, these aren't like the kind of little plastic ones you get in a Halloween store.
we always get asked about them.
Expensive.
Has anyone ever, have you ever like really bit each other with these things? Like,
I told her
She
about
has.
Melissa biting Kate.
Yeah, the case. She bought out cases here. The first day, she
Probably the
was
first
just
show.
so excited.
We're proud of it. It'll be 3 years in August, though. To have your first show in Vegas to last 3 years is something that not too many people can say that they've done. So we're very proud about that.
This has been a presentation of Players Network.